And it is our honor, Rick, this hour and right now to have former President Donald J. Trump on the show.
Welcome back to the show.
Well, good morning, fellas. It's true. First radio show I did from the White House. That's exactly right. How could I forget that?
Mr. President, we got a lot of topics we want to cover with you, a lot of questions that folks want to know. First and foremost, are you going to run again in 2024, or will you be a rally man and a kingmaker behind the scene? That is the number one question we're getting from our listeners.
Well, maybe both. You know, we've endorsed some great candidates, and they seem to always win. Mo Brooks is one right now. He's doing fantastically well, and he's a patriot. And we have a lot of people that we endorse, and if you look at the record is pretty much almost unblemished, and so that's important. And on the other, because of the campaign laws, you're not allowed to really say, but I think you're going to be very happy. You guys will be very happy. A lot of people are going to be very happy when they look at what's going on. It's absolute disgrace what's happening right now in our country.
Let's unpack that. So the tens of thousands of people are coming to hear you at this rally and other rallies like it that have already happened and will take place. I mean, people already on the grounds. It doesn't even happen until tomorrow night. So there's truly a concern that Americans have that the country is headed in the complete wrong direction. You've talked about it, but let's get on the record here. What was your plan for us leaving Afghanistan? Because you two wanted us to get our troops out.
Right. I wanted to get out. 21 years was enough.
Yeah.
The problem is the way we got out, that withdrawal. Right. Ours was going to be very simple. We get the civilians out. We get others out that need to be gotten out. That's number one. Number two is we get our billions of dollars worth of equipment out. We don't leave it for these people, knowing they're probably going to be taken over as soon as we stop fighting. So they'll probably be taken over, and the Taliban would get it. So number two is we take our equipment out. Then we bomb the hell out of the bases. And then last but not least comes out our military, and everything's done. And it would be seamless. It was simple. And a first-grade student would know you have to get your civilians out first. But I was keeping the military equipment. But very importantly, what they've done is absolute. It's just gross incompetence. Look, they take the military out, and now who knows what they're going to be able to get out? Who knows? Because the Taliban has totally taken over. And we have maybe as many as 45,000 people. They have 45,000 hostages. So it's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. You get your people, that's like the captain of a ship, jumping the ship before the people are off the boat. That's what we did. It's crazy. A first-grade student would not do that.
Mr. President, given the current status of Afghanistan, where we are right now, and it is a mess, it is a disaster, if they call you in to fix it, what could be done? How could we fix this?
Well, I had
problem?
a relationship with a leader. You know, I get criticized by some of the radical left. Oh, he called them. Well, who are you going to call? You call the people you're against. And I had a very strong conversation with him. And then Abdul. And I said, look, here's the story. If you do anything to hurt Americans, anything that's out of line, we're going to hit you at your town, and we're going to hit you harder than anybody's ever been hit before. And we got that out of the way. And I said, do you understand that? And he said, yes, I understand that. And he did. He understood it. It would have been had the election not been rigged, we would be in a whole different position right now. We had the strongest border, and now it's the weakest border. We had energy at $1.87 for a gallon of gasoline. Now it's going to be over $5. I mean, it's so sad to see. And then you have the Afghanistan. It makes everything look, I mean, nobody's ever seen anything like this stupidity. It would have been a whole different story, all of this stuff. Our economy's going to go to hell. So many things are happening. Inflation. I mean, the inflation we have is now through the roof. So you look at it, and it's too bad. And all because the election was rigged, and it's a shame. And the people of Alabama know it better than anybody.
Well, there's no doubt there's a huge passion for the way that you performed as president. And certainly the state of Alabama is one of those pockets. There's many. So can you explain, though, because I think we have to educate, why do we see the inflation we see now? Why do we see the gas prices we see now as opposed to when your administration was there? What did they undo that your administration did that gave us those things?
Well, I'd have to speak to you for about 5 hours.
Right. Well, some of the basic stuff. Well, first of all, the drilling.
You saw the border. I mean, we had stay in Mexico. We had all these people coming out there, emptying their prisons into our country. They're doing everything, and I had this really powerful policy: stay in Mexico. They ended that. They ended catch and the catch and release that I ended. That's where you catch even a prisoner, a convict, and you release him. You're supposed to release him into our country. I ended that, and it wasn't easy. I had to go through litigation for 2 years, but I got all of this stuff ended. Many of the things I did, they want to put back, or they have put back, and we now have the most open, porous border that we've ever had, where criminals are coming into our country totally unchecked. But if you look at the inflation, it all starts with fuel prices. What they've done to the energy, we were energy independent 6 months ago, and now I just saw where the other day they called up OPEC. Here we go again.
Yep.
They called up OPEC to try and get more energy sent to our country.
Unbelievable.
And we had so much. I even filled up the national oil reserves, which were practically empty during my time at a very cheap price because the energy was so low. So we had this thing running like a finely tuned watch. And now with leadership, I never realized how important the top person, the president, would be. You assume it's important, and we all know it's important. But the decisions made here are absolutely horrendous. And I'll be talking about that on Saturday night in the great state. I mean, I'll be in Alabama, and I love Alabama. So I guess we have a big crowd coming, but we'll be talking about everything together. And like I say, your listeners, they get it. They get it more than just about anybody.
Mr. President, with the COVID still raging on, we got the variants. Under your plan, Warp Speed, these vaccines were developed. Talk to us just a little bit about that. Do you feel the vaccines are safe, and are you urging people to be vaccinated or not?
Yeah, number one, I want them to have their freedom, so if it's really going to be their choice, and they work with their doctor, etc. But I took it, and it's really a great achievement. In 1917, we had the Spanish flu, and it killed up to 100 million people. I think if we didn't come up with a vaccine, the same thing would have happened. So I tell them to take it. I got it done in less than 9 months. It was supposed to take 5 years. And Fauci, I'm sure you like Fauci quite a bit.
Yeah, we were going to ask you about him.
Fauci sort of gave up on the project. He said there's just no way you're going to do it fast enough. And I got the FDA, who are a very bureaucratic, to put it nicely, organization. They don't like me too much, but I got them to move, and we got it done in 9 months. We bought billions of dollars worth of it early, and it was, it's been amazing. It's been really amazing. But, some people, it was very hurtful when Biden went out and said, let's pause. They paused. They don't like Johnson & Johnson, I guess, but they paused the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, and that hurt because people don't think of Johnson & Johnson. They think of a vaccine. That pause was very, very bad by them. And I think people don't trust Biden. That's why they're not taking it. Because if you remember, when I was in, we were not having this problem. Everybody was rushing to get it. But I think people don't trust Biden, and that's what the problem is. But
do you also think what it is? Do you also think they don't trust Fauci because there's more and more people? You in the beginning, you said, all right, this is the guy. We'll let him talk. But it seemed that you lost your trust in Fauci. Give us your view of Dr. Fauci.
Well, I thought he was great from the standpoint that everything he said I did the opposite of, and it worked out well. For instance, I closed up the border, as you know, with China, which everybody was against, including him.
True.
I then closed up Europe. We would have lost hundreds of thousands. We were projected to lose 2.4 million people, and we're at 600,000. It's too much. But we were projected to lose much more. Had we let China pour into our country, if I didn't close it, and almost everybody was against me closing, and I was there, Pelosi, everybody. They called me a racist and everything else in the book, their standard fare. But people were opposed to it. Look, it was a big move. But it turned out to be right. And even Fauci said I saved tens of thousands of lives by closing the border. And then we closed it to Europe also because we saw Italy and we saw France and we saw, Spain, what was happening. So we closed it. But, no, I did a lot of things opposite. You remember when Fauci said no masks, masks are bad. and now he's a radicalized masker. I mean, if you wear 5 masks, that's a good thing. So it's, he's changed a lot. He really has changed. But, I did a lot of things that were different. I listened to a lot of people, and then I formed my own opinion, basically.
Mr. President, a lot of us are very confused because Twitter has banned you, but they still have the Taliban on. Can you give us any guidance on that?
Well, these are radical left maniacs, and they should be close to banned. I mean, what they've done is incredible to our country. What they do is just horrible and incredible. You have killers, you have murderers, you have thugs, you have bad dictators, you have bad people, you have bad countries, and then they banned the President of the United States, who came up with the vaccine and lots of other good things. And so, it's not only them. It's Facebook and it's Google and that whole group. They're all the same. They work together, and they helped to really try and skew the election. But we got 75 million votes, more than any sitting president in history by far. It wasn't even close. And 12 million more than we got the previous in 2016. So I was told if we get 1 million more votes, just 1 million, we win. We got 12 million, and they say we didn't win, but the people know we did win. So, it's just a terrible thing. It was a rigged deal.
Well, President, one final question, and we'll let you go. If you do end up, say you do decide to run again, and you get a chance, is there anything you would do different?
No, I may get to Alabama a little bit sooner. And I'll make sure that without question, you'll be my first call. But you guys have been great. No, look, what we did is I rebuilt the military. By the way, Space Force I sent to Alabama. I hope you know that.
Yes, we appreciate that. Huntsville is very appreciative.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, they said we're looking for a home. And I single-handedly said, let's go to Alabama. They wanted it. I said, let's go to Alabama. So, hey, look, I love Alabama. I love what they're doing. But we've done a lot. Rebuilt the military and the biggest tax cuts in history, biggest regulation cuts in history, and created the greatest economy in the history of our world.
Donald Trump, thanks for being with us today, President, and thank you for your service to the country.
You're going to love Coleman, Alabama.
Yeah, you're going to love it.
That is Trump country.
Trump. If you want to go there, just go to show notes at rickandbubba.com or just go to donaldjtrump.com. You do need to fill out that you're coming. It is free. We limit 2 tickets per phone number, and that will be tomorrow at York Family Farms in Coleman. We'll be back.
Rick and Bubba, Rick and Bubba.